Welcome back to the Defying Gentrification with Kristen Jeffers. And I am doing some different things now. If you've noticed, if you've been over on the website lately, it is now strictly defyinggentrification.com, and we are calling ourselves Defying Gentrification with Kristen Jeffers. So definitely head over to the website. You can go over, you can buy the book, whether at Bookshop. And please also, if you don't do it at Bookshop, go in person to your favorite Black or indie queer bookstore, feminist. If you're still got a feminist bookstore, please tell them to not only stock the book, but maybe have me come by. And they can always order a one-off for you if you'd like to pick it up in person. Also, someone asked me this on Facebook when I went to Barnes & Noble recently and posted myself with the book in my purse. I know, shady. They asked me how to get it autographed. And you know what? I just realized something, especially after the fiasco that is left at least 3 of you without a book that paid. I'm going to actually be willing to send you an autographed sticker. So purchase your book at any of these places. Let me know that you've purchased it. You can email kjeffers2@gmail.com. Right now, just my Gmail's active. And you can send me your address, and I will mail you a hand autographed inked sticker to go in your book. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Secondly, we are here in this Black August, and later on in this podcast episode, I'm going to be reading this week's post. It is part 1, the official part 1 of a Black August series I decided to start. Those of you who aren't familiar with Black August is a time where all of us Black radicals, revolutionaries, we honor and we seek to study and sharpen our skills in this principled struggle and process of liberation. And for me, I realized last year I was drafting the Defying Gentrification Playbook, and this year, even though it came out with imperfections, it is the body of work, the message, the manifesto of I can have faith, I can take care of myself, I can create and cultivate, but I need the community's care. I need the infrastructure, access, and convenience they can provide to defy gentrification. I mean, it's a manifesto, y'all. So I am taking some time to break that down. And this week on this podcast and on the companion blog, you might be listening, you might have pressed play inside of the Substack post. If you did that, I love you and I thank you for that. Likewise, you can also press play inside of the Medium and the Patreon versions. And Patreons, I really want to thank y'all so much. You all have still decided that being part of the Kristen E. Jeffers Patreon is worth it, even though we've been through lots of changes. And yes, patreon.com, that's patreon.com/Kristen E. Jeffers, and I spell it Kristen. That site is still there for you. You can still pledge. But folks, if you're over on Substack, you can also pledge there. And if you're on Medium reading the post, you're already in the Medium membership. So we're focusing on these areas where I can make sure that I can maintain this site. But if you are on Substack, if you are on Patreon, there are free membership options. You can be part of the community even without pledging at this time. And of course, if you're on your favorite podcast player, I am here, I am in your ears. And now, without further ado, but I will get into this Audre Lorde post that I created for this week of Black August. However, I want you to stay to the end. Or actually, it's embedded in the post. I'll read to the end about the special event I'm doing on August 20th virtually for all of you all who are fans and who have been here with this work and want to engage with the Defying Gentrification Playbook, which I haven't had a chance to do so because we're not in the same place. So, deep breath, breathing in, and now the post. Audre Lorde is one of 2 Black feminists powering my Defying Gentrification journey. Her words are more than words. They are infusions of radical sustainability and power. By Kristen Jeffers, MPA. My first muse. My original writing muse for this work was my dad. He gave me my first paper map. He took me to get the Happy Meals or the toy cars to drive on those maps. He always had time to build houses with me with Lincoln logs and to ride down all the chutes and ladders. He taught me how to ride my bike and found me several of my first ones. He planted one of the many seeds of entrepreneurship that came from my family by taking me on his electrician service calls. He had his mental health struggles, but they didn't cause serious problems until one April day in 2010. He entered a manic mind state and caused a 5-car collision where he was ejected from his vehicle, hit a telephone pole, and after months of rehabilitation, regained some motion, but not all of his brain power. I took fingers to keyboard and pen to paper to document the urbanism as it showed up in his life in this disabled state and the version that he taught me to dream about. After about 3 years, he eventually got a car and some odd jobs again, but then he was taken from us. Not by kidnapping, but by an argument in his home gone wrong. He was 53. When we buried him, I was still moving out of the Christianity of my youth, the one that said that everything was going to be okay all the time. I had started to understand ancestor veneration, so I felt like I could at least keep talking to him and asking one-sided questions. Occasionally, I would see signs of things he liked, like vans full of electrical supplies, or the trademark green vans driven by the Guilford County Schools Maintenance Department that he retired from just 5 years before his death at age 48. But as I said in the post where I spoke in depth about this, he was gone, and I felt lost in my writing. Finding the next muse. So then I turned my efforts into my very first printed book, A Black Urbanist, Essays Volume 1. Volume 1 because I knew it wasn't finished, but I was finished for now. I reduced how much I was writing on my blog because I dreamed of the publication of words by someone not me. The editors, at least the ones I spoke to, all told me they wouldn't run something unoriginal. Yeah, I self-published that volume anyway, through Blurb, sans ISBN. And the book worked, sort of. Same with a podcast with a white woman co-host down the line. I got a lot of white fans, especially male and solidly middle class and above. However, it started to bother me that my way of being, consciously at this point as a black feminist, was not reflected in my urbanism, and that urbanism was honestly an afterthought. I already was holding down the banner for black men, even writing a post calling out how the streets were not safe for Trayvon Martin back when that murder first happened. But what was different, I noticed that my sisters, especially my trans sisters, were the ones evicted, underpaid, fired, and shamed for living the city lives long before they were popular and cool. Getting with my now wife pushed me over the edge of ignoring the problems of black gender marginalized people. I decided it's time to stop pretending that the urbanism I knew, and in some cases was leading folks into, was okay. I got tired, for real, of being a token. And instead of just our convenience on tokenism, I wanted this work and platform to detokenize every single day and meet people where they are. Black gender marginalized folks are urbanists by default. Yes, even with a car, living in the suburbs. Until housing for black folks is guaranteed, we will always be at the mercy of the systems that insist that housing can't ever be free or low cost. And in such a commoditized, surveilled, policed world, many of us will crave the quiet, separate, large but mindness of areas that let us call our homes a perfect permanent home. But we still deserve loading docks, bike lanes, trees, schools that love everything about all of our kids, and places to share and celebrate our cultural traditions that don't strip the humanity of others. Folks think I pulled away from my blog at that time because I was trying to hide the gay. No, like Audre Lorde, I needed a new spelling of my name. The Black Urbanist captured some things, but black, queer, feminist, disabled urbanism grabbed almost all of it. Gentrification often likes to strip or paper over those middle words in pursuit of devaluing the lives of the first word. Podcast folks, I'm going to say that again. Black, queer, feminist, disabled urbanism grabbed almost all of it. Gentrification often likes to strip or paper over those words in the middle in pursuit of devaluing the lives of the first word, black. What kind of urbanism makes it clear that black lives, all of them, matter? To me, that's defying gentrification. The good Lord Audre's relevant scriptures. As many of us know, Audre Lorde told us when we needed to tear down the master's house with our own tools if we expected long-term changes. because the tools that our masters created were temporary. My ears perked up because I was looking for ancestors to give me words the way my dad did about how to build both inside and outside of my body. Then she told us that we don't live single issue lives. Take that, everyone who wants me to just be an urbanist and who assumes that just being an urbanist is white, man, straight, abled, and neutral. That we have to heal ourselves from within and stop trying to get those who won't validate us, namely as Black people, to validate us. That we Black folks aren't a monolith, hence my growing discomfort with being the Black urbanist, all caps, even with the caveats I wrote on the original site. Of course, I could quote more, but there is a reason why this one is number one. As a Black lesbian mother in an interracial marriage, there is usually some part of me guaranteed to offend everybody's comfortable prejudices of who I should be. That is how I learned that if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. My poetry, my life, my work, my energies for struggle were not acceptable unless I pretended to match somebody else's norm. I learned that I not only couldn't succeed at that game, but the energy needed for that masquerade would be lost to my work. I can only be Kristen. I can defy gentrification. And I can do it through self-care. Again, the nod to her saying that it wasn't an indulgence, creativity, and faith. I need my community and their access, infrastructure, and convenience to be successful. Other people's deaf fantasies of me, or even living fantasies of how I'm supposed to show up in urbanism, have no place here. All right, y'all. So we're coming to the end of the main written part. And next time, we're going to talk about the circle of control. Yes, the therapy aid. And how I saw that image start to interlace itself on top of the Defying Gentrification Manifesto. And yeah, I also want to note that I want this manifesto. I want my words to be quoted long before me. So if there's some gems in this post, by all means, if you're on Substack, highlight them and shoot them out as notes. There is also a version of this on Instagram with a lot of my quotes from this post. So do that. And then, like I said before, you want to make sure, head on over to Partiful and search for the event called Making New Fantasies, a workshop in the pursuit of defying gentrification. There is a link to register in the show notes, in the Substack, in the Patreon, in the Medium. And of course, if you're in other places, you're going to start to see this event show up separately, in addition to all these other posts of the Black August series. And then, of course, I went on Gumroad and I dropped a PDF version, full color, of the paperback layout of the Defying Gentrification Playbook. If you have not had a chance to get it or it's been cost prohibitive, this version is only $19.99, and not only does it contain the PDF, it also contains the EPUB. Now the EPUB, the formatting is a little wonky, so I wanted to give you both, so that way, however you wanted to read it, if you wanted to put it in an e-reader and outline things, or if you wanted to try to get it printed out, by all means, please do. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next time on this podcast, on this newsletter, on wherever. And yeah, possibly outside, out and about, in the world that I live in. So yeah, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.